Hello, my loves. Welcome into this Taurus Solar Season reading for those who have the planet Saturn in Taurus. If you haven't already watched the introduction to these readings and you want to learn more about what we're doing here, it's linked in the description and popping up on YouTube. So the planets in our astrological story represent what of our experience, and the sign that they're in represent how that what expresses. So the what of Saturn is your discipline and routine. So your discipline and routine express themselves through the energy of Taurus. Now, another thing that Saturn does in our chart is it will repress the energy, whatever sign it's in, until it returns to the same place in our chart that it was when we were born. The Saturn return happens between 28 years old to 30 years old. And so the Saturn return is a big moment where we're invited into some sort of challenge that helps us to unlock the gifts that of the sign that Saturn is in. So if you're in the pre-Saturn return period of your life, you're going to be less expressed in your Taurus energy, and you're going to perhaps not resonate as much with this reading, but it's nice to know that this is where you're heading, that this is an area of your chart that you are going to have the opportunity to unlock the gifts of moving forward. And the more that you can prepare yourself for embracing the gifts of this energy, the less, what is the word I'm looking for? It's like shaking things up. Saturn will be for you when it returns. So your structure and your routine and your discipline likes to be in this fixed physical expression. So you probably find a lot of structure and routine in your home is very supportive for you, that domestic energy. There's likely a need for you to build time with nature into your structure and your routine. Make that a daily part of your habit and your routine. There's also this energy of you're very determined when it comes to setting structure in your routine in your life, and creating physical practices, physical things that you can do are going to be very helpful for you within your structure and your routine, because the physical realm is the material realm, the things that we can touch. And when you create a structure and your routine around some sort of physical activity, you're really going to feel aligned and feel the benefit of that. Let's see what the Fairy Oracle has to tell us about how to activate an earthy embodiment this solar phase. If you haven't already, closed your eyes, taken a few deep breaths, and opened your heart to receive the guidance most aligned for you at this time. Here's your invitation to do that. Remember, you can pause the video if you need more time. You can invite in any energies that you work with. I just ask that they be here in unconditional love and aligned with your highest good and the highest good of all. Whoa. Hello. Gatekeeper came through with some authority. Fairy time, time shifts, dimensional slips. Okay. Alrighty. Wow, that was so cool. All right. You can shape your own time, create portals between past and present, allow the now to be more effective and magical, revisit the past, and do over when the gatekeeper arrives. Watches and clocks may no longer work for you. Timers may go off at strange times. There may be visitations from people who you have yet to meet, and you may recreate your past in the dimension experienced when sleeping. Going to fairy mounds and sacred spaces, stone circles where trees grow in a circle within a fairy ring, may accelerate this process. You will see ghosts and understand the future and stay well amidst it all. For it is not chaos, but truth. And it is not unreality, but more real and wondrous than any dream. Understand that the concept of linear time is irrelevant to the question you currently seek to answer. Interesting. Foretelling is coming to you as you tap into a source outside of linear time belief. Understand that time is a landscape, and where you choose to place your attention creates the concept and experience you are currently having. Dream time of the Aboriginal peoples of Australia is all time and no time, a beginning, life, end, and recreation occurring simultaneously. We too can dream and be without the time pressures we currently believe we need to experience. Some say that when we break through the fifth world in the future, we will no longer have this current time belief, and all will change and flow. Once upon a time will be now and forever. We will be one with our ancestors past, companions present, and generations of the future. We will speak and dream and share together. Holy moly, what a big card and energy. For time's sake, I didn't want to read the full description in this book, but I feel like you need a little bit more understanding and context for all that I just said there. So we're going to go into it. In both ancient fairy lore and in the magical world of the fairy, past, present, and future coexist and are fluid and transferable. There are unusual to most human ways of thinking exchanges between these dimensions of time in fairy, just as there are shifting qualities to fairies' shape, size, and space. They are time travelers, shape shifters, and space travelers. The most common view of time held by science until recently was that of Isaac Newton, of time being like a straight arrow shot forward from a bow. Time marches on, moving inexorably in one direction. We are born, we age, we die. Time in this view does not move left to right, up or down, and certainly never in circles. But time does indeed move in a circle, in a spherical circle, which, when it turns, does leave behind the mark of a line. But the line is not time itself. Most humans do not like this truth. They prefer to feel that all is measurable, divided up into neat units moving in one direction and never changing within this world. It is, they say, a law. But the fairies prove this law to be a belief and nothing else. You see, you too can break this era of time in your life by asking the gatekeeper if you can move beyond this law or belief into the realm beyond. Time is not a one-way ride, and if you are prepared to live this way, then you will be more truthfully alive, magical, and experimental. This is no new law, 'tis no new invention. Ancient shamans have known the ritual or ceremony time, ritual or ceremony time is a place where there is no past, no present, no future. There is only now. In Buddhism, in Tao, and in Hindu practice, time is not linear but a circle. In the medicine wheel of the Hopi, time is a circle. In the wheel of the year, she again is a circle. And it is in this circle that you can find yourself able to time travel, to bend time, to move between what seem to be over and what you can recreate in the moment of now. Belief in time as a line has led us all to feel we must control outcomes and destinations, but the acceptance of a cycle creates health, youth, beauty, joy, and uncertainty, which is a blessing. The cycle of time does not merely repeat. She repeats with endless variations, and thus the fairies know and wish to teach us that if we approach with perfect love and trust, there are infinite variations on which we call the past and the future and the now. For the door is perception, and consciousness rules your experience of time, and the gatekeeper will know if you are prepared to live this truth, or if the wonder of it all will almost be too much for you. When we accept the truth of fairy time, people reappear in our lives so we can recreate and reshape the past. We may journey back to a place where we have been, and our future self can visit us. Seasons may pass in the blink of a green eye, and years of joy pass slowly. We may grow old without aging. We may stay young at heart and live way beyond the allotted lifespan the other version of time would have us believe in. We will feel the echoes, see the future, and indeed remember how it is meant to be, and then create it simply by remembering. This may make life surreal and mysterious, and there may be a strange and odd occurrences. You may learn great secrets and be fully in the present, but you will always, once the story has been walked through, be in the time of now, in the magic, in fairy time. Okay. I don't know where to go with this. It's so funny that this is your structure and your routine, and the fairies are coming in and saying you can embody the earthly energies by recognizing that time is outside of structure and routine. For those who this resonates with, I really do recommend, I don't know what I recommend. I recommend watching Pam Gregory's solar eclipse reading. She's an astrologer, so she's going to deep dive you into a lot of the astrology of the moment. She is calling for a lot of portal shifts, a lot of time shifts, a lot of time jumps. She actually is saying that she thinks on a collective level, humanity is going to start experiencing the great malleability of time. And that may help you understand this material a little bit further. There's also a great, if you just search dimension dot explanation or dimension explanation, it's just this animated explanation of the dimensions where they use a dot to explain the different dimensions and lines between the dots to explain them. It kind of helps us understand time as a dimension that can be folded through, which I feel has given me a more scientific understanding of what they're talking about here in this, with the ability to use the circle of time, which creates a line when we travel all the way around the circle, right? We experience that as a line, but in reality, it's happening in a spherical nature. And one things that eclipses offer us are portals into new dimensions, new opportunities. And there's a solar eclipse happening a few hours before the sun shifts into Taurus. So this is a powerful time for you. Your structure and routine feels like it's going to be shook up a little bit. And you're going to feel this more strongly. I feel somehow the shift into Taurus and the focus on your Saturn in this area is going to really invite you into a completely different experience of time. And recognizing that you can influence the past and the future from this present moment, and you can travel to different places from this present moment as well. Yeah, this one's a deep dive. I don't know what else to add. She came out with such force, though, that it really feels like a relationship that you're being invited to have with this being. If you want to ask as you're falling asleep to meet the gatekeeper and have an experience, go ahead and do that. Keep a journal by your bed and start writing down. That's actually, okay, that's the structure and routine you're being invited into to experience earthly changes. Put a journal by your bed, and when you go to sleep at night, ask the gatekeeper to come to you. And then follow up with me because I really want to know how this goes for you. Let me know how this resonates. Let me know if you have questions. And as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors that universal light within you. Namaste.